All right, my friends. Today's video is how to solve a problem that is a little bit awkward at first glance, but then when you get your idea, you're like, bing! I had a viewer send in a request to make a little chandelier or a specialty light fixture, and I'll show you what he sent here. Let me share my screen and I'll show you. So the idea here is that he says, how would you go about making this particular light fixture? And when I looked at it, I was like, most of it is straightforward, like bam. But there's one particular thing that's a little bit tricky, and I believe that's what he's referring to as the difficult part and how would I approach it. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. And then we're going to, well, here we are in Revit, but I want to show you this. Okay, hope you guys can see this. This is the light fixture that he suggested. Now, most of this light fixture here is just a revolve, okay? The top that attaches to the ceiling is a revolve, and the stem and this whole thing is a revolve. But even these little balls that are on top, these crystal little balls that are on top of this thing are a little bit of those are revolves. That's how I would do it anyway. But what I believe he's running into an issue with is this splayed out little bar that goes around. This thing is not just straight up and down, which would be fairly easy to model. It is undulating up and down like 6 times around this thing. But it's out. Can you guys see that it's out? It's hanging out at an angle, okay? So what we're gonna do is we are going to see if we can make something very similar to this in Revit. And I'll show you how I would go about doing it, okay? So here we are back in Revit. I'm just gonna hit File, and I'm going to hit New Family. And when these come up, I'm just like, should I make it in Japanese or Portuguese today? Now let's just stick with English Imperial, just in case there's, I wouldn't be able to read something on screen. Okay, I'm gonna come down here to lighting fixtures, and this is gonna be a ceiling-based light fixture, okay? So that when I have a ceiling, it just, tink, it sticks to the ceiling. So I'm going to open that template. Oh, wait, mechanical equipment ceiling based. Whoa, I almost clicked on majorly wrong one. Lighting fixture ceiling based. There we go. How about not linear lighting fixture, plain old lighting fixture ceiling based? Shoot, you got to check these carefully before you click. Just a heads up. Okay, when I open up this template, it is showing me the view at the ceiling. This is the ceiling object right here. And if I go to like 3D in this view, okay, and I'm going to orbit around, this is what they give us, okay? So let's go to the front view of this thing. What it is, that the floor is down here. They've put in a ceiling that our fixture will stick to, and they've put in a light source. And so I'm just going to click on this light source, and I'm going to move it down a couple feet. And 2'6" is plenty. So our light source is down 2'6" from the ceiling. Whatever, it doesn't even matter. Okay, but here we go. What I want to do is build this thing as I would. I'm going to see how fast I can actually build this thing. Let's get the preliminary stuff out of the way first. Okay. Let's create the glass dome and the little piece around it. And so I'm going to say create a revolve. Oh, a revolve. And I toss my axes in here on the vertical, okay? And then I go to my boundaries, which are the outlines of pieces and objects, okay? So here we go. What I want to do is I'm going to go, I'm going to come across here. I think the dome down about that far would be nice, wouldn't it? Something like that. That's nice and shallow. And I'm going to go offset about 1/8 of an inch. And here we go. I'm just going to snap to these ends, and I'm going to draw a line. Look at this. Okay. Trim Oops, and didn't even draw that vertical line on the center. You can't have anything passing the, there we go, trim. Trim this up to there, trim that down to there. So look, you can't have any of your object passing the axis line because this is a revolve. It's going to use any geometry that's on the left or the right, or not and it's going to spin it, well, and it's going to spin this thing around and finish itself out. So I'm just put everything that I want on the left and watch. Whoonk, there we go. We've got ourselves a piece. I'm actually going to pick that thing, and in the properties, let me move my face out of the way. In the properties down here, I'm going to tell that object material. I'm going to tell it to be glass. Okay. Okay. So if we were to go to shaded, bing, you can see we got a glass. I'm going to actually hit VG on my keyboard and uncheck light source right now because, and hit OK. I don't want the light source in my way while I'm working. Okay. So here we go. We've got a little glass dome, but what we need is like the fixture that holds it. I'm going to do create another revolve, put in my axis first. Just actually put it in later, but I don't want to forget it. Okay, so over here at the edge trim, we can have any edge trim we want. I'm just going to use a rectangle and put a piece of trim. There's a piece of metal trim. Done. Done. Zing, goes around. If it's a little bit too high, you can pull it down, whatever. And then let's make another one. And not annotate, create another revolve, put in my axis on the center and my boundary. He had something cool like this sitting out there going around, and I'm going to make that glass. You know, that light fixture was kind of cool. It had something like that going on, but it also had a bracket on the ceiling and the electrical wire inside of a pipe coming down. So I'm going to create another revolve and axis on the center, boundary. All right, let's just go. Okay, it was just a plain old thing on the ceiling, but I'm going to change it a tiny bit, whatever. Okay, and remember, nothing can cross. You can draw stuff on the right and on the left, but nothing can actually cross over the axis. So if I hit done, so there we go. We've got ourselves a light fixture. That was quick, okay? And if I put this into Revit, it would stick right onto the ceiling, and it would actually have a light source glowing down from the light, which is right here at the intersection of these two reference planes. Bam, done, but not really. We want to have that undulating thing. And when I looked at that, I was like, okay, what undulates around but is at an angle? Something in our world. And I thought, a pencil. Have you guys ever sharpened a wooden pencil and you've looked at the end of it? It is splayed at an angle. Okay, let me just talk to you here. It's splayed at an angle, and yet it undulates where it's cut. So that means there's a cut. When we put it in the sharpener, it cuts it at an angle, but the object is octagon or hexagon shaped. That's why we get the undulations. So that is where my brain went to solve this. I was like, yes, I'm going to make a giant pencil and then sharpen it. Bam. And use the edge of that to create a sweep. That's the answer. So here we go. I'm going to go back to the ref level, which is looking down on the top of this thing. Okay. I'm going to put a hexagon on here. I'm going to create an extrusion. Okay. And I'm going to make the extrusion. Let's just use this one, a circumscribed polygon. 6 sides is good. I'm going to use the center as the center, and I'm going to pull this out like out here. Okay. Right on our object. And well, actually, I decided I'm going to pull it in a little further. I'm going to pull that edge to the edge of the metal band. Okay. Right. There. Not hanging over onto the little glass piece. So now I've got, if you guys can see it, I've got a hexagon on here, and I want my hexagon to be like 4 feet tall. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. And I'm going to finish. Okay. So let me just now, let me go to, wait for it. This is my hexagon. I'm going to go to the front view, front view, and just show you. Here's our little pencil. It's a giant pencil. And I'm going to lift it up, and I'm going to come up to here. So this is going to be my pencil, okay? And in left view, this is what it looks like, okay? All right, this is going to be the pencil, and I need to sharpen this thing now, okay? So I'm going to use a void object. I'm going to create a, I'm going to create a positive object and turn it into a void. Just work with me. I do that because if you start with a void, it starts cutting things immediately, and I don't want it to cut anything but what I tell it to cut. So look at this. I'm going to make another revolve, and this is going to be my pencil sharpener, okay? I am going to make a pencil sharpener from right here. I want to cut up at that angle. That looks like a good angle for this thing to be at, okay? And then I'm going to bring my blade, my cutting blade, out here like this and close it. So this is going to be a revolve. Here's my axis on the center, and this blade is going to cut. It's going to sharpen my pencil. I'm going to say done, okay? But it's not sharpening the pencil yet because it is, see, if my pencil was down here, I know the light source is inside there, but I'm going to delete it. So this, okay, so I'm about to sharpen this pencil. I just want to show you how fun this is. Look at this. Okay, this is my, okay, this is my blade, and I'm over here in the properties. It says it's a solid object, but I'm going to switch it to being a void. Okay, so what you see on screen is a blade. That's my cutter, that's my void, and this is the pencil. And in a sec, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Cut. I'm going to hit the cut tool up in geometry. Use the blade to cut the pencil. Does anybody else see what I see? It looks like a pencil, and I'm going to go shaded so you can even see it better. Okay. So now that we've got this pencil shape in there, we can use these edges to create a sweep. Except I noticed that it comes to a tippy point, and I want those to be rounded at the top. So all I got to do is click on my pencil, basically, and edit it. I'm going to edit it from the top view, edit extrusion. And see, these can't be tippy points if I want it to round. I need to curve these off. And so the tool I use here to change this is this guy right here, this fillet arc, okay? Or fillet if you're cutting fish. But this is a fillet. I'm going to click that, and you just click the two sides, and then you tell it what curvature you want, okay? So I usually just place it and then change this. I'm going to make it 4 inches, okay? A 4-inch curve. Or 2 inches. How about 2 inches? 2 inches, okay? And then I'll click these two, place it, you just place it, and then you change it to 2 inches, okay? And you click these two, place it, change it to 2 inches. I found it easier to just click, click, place it, and change it is easier than trying to nail 2 inches the first shot. I like my way of doing things. Okay, we're almost done. So here we go. 2 inches. I've gone all the way around and I've rounded these edges, okay? So now you see how our hexagon shape is rounded on the edges? When we go to our view, you can see, now look, can you see how that's rounded edges like that? Okay, this is all, that's good enough. That's where we're going with this. The idea here is to create a sweep that follows that edge all the way around. And then we can get rid of the pencil and the cutter, you know, the little blade. Get rid of them after we have used it. So here we go. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to hit create. I'm going to actually go to 3D. Where's my 3D button? There we go. In 3D, this is what we're dealing with here. Okay. Let me just spin this around and show you. Okay. We are going to follow around this and make a sweep. So I click on the sweep tool and I say, pick a path. That's key here because it will actually pick 3D edges. So I'm going to hit pick path. And now I just have to pick this thing all the way around. So I'm going to pick right there. Pick that. I mean, it's slightly off axis, of course, because it's that truncated on a pencil. Duh. Okay. So I'm going to pick this top and this down. And I'm going to go orbit a little bit. And I'm going up, and come on, down and around to the next one. Up and over, come on, up and over and back down. All right. And come around here and up and over and back down. And up and over and back down. Almost done. Up and over. Now, do you guys see that my path is following this undulated edge that is on the edge of a pencil sharpened? Okay. All right. Now I'm finishing my path and I need to edit my profile. And so it says, this is slightly off axis. It may cause inaccuracies. I know I'm inaccurate. Okay. So here I go. I'm down here. I've zoomed way in so that I can draw. I'm going to use a circle and I'm just going to put a tiny little circle on here, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Radius. So it's a 1/4 inch pipe going around. And so, so here we go. I'm going to check the box. And now I have a shape, a profile, and a path. I'm going to check this. Oh, come on. Can't hold it. It did this to me once before. And what it is, cancel. What it was, friends, it was taking the, I'm going to edit this profile, make it a little bit smaller. See if that can do it. Oh, come on. It's having a hard time turning the corner is what it's doing for some reason. I thought that that would be a perfectly good corner to turn, huh? Anybody else have a problem with that? That corner? Edit profile. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. You know what? I don't want to have to redo this whole video just for this. Oh, there. So it did it. It worked. I was just messing around, consistent colors, shaded. So maybe, okay. A good thing I don't have to redo this whole video just for that. I was messing around with the radius until it finally accepted the size. I don't know why it didn't like 1/8 of an inch and it accepted something a little bit larger, whatever. Let me just delete the pencil now. I'm glad that worked. Thank you, Lord. I'm going to delete that pencil and delete the cutter so you can see what we're dealing with. I'm going to hit VG and turn off the light source here in 3D so you can see this light fixture. Can you guys see how this is starting to come together for us? Okay, what we need now are the little balls on the end, the little crystal balls. I think I've done the hard part here. This is the hard part, getting that done, okay? But now to put the balls on the end. So what I'm going to do is come over here. What we need is a little ball on the end of that. And I'm simply going to go create a revolve. And the revolve is, I'm going to put in my axis, just a little axis right there. And I'm going to create a half circle shape. Bam. Okay. And I'm going to click on that half circle shape. I'm going to tell it to be glass, or you can make it crystal, or you can make it whatever you want. Okay. And now I'm going to move it into place. Watch this. Those were located right on the ends of these. That looks good enough to me. And then I'm going to come to my top view, okay? And I want 6 of those. So I'm going to use a array. So I click on that and I say array, and I'm going to place, look at this, center of rotation. I'm going to hit place the center of rotation right here, okay? And on a hexagon, we need 60 degrees. And I don't need 3 of them, I did 6 of them. Bing, done. So if we go to 3D, hey friends, are you guys seeing what I'm seeing here? A beautiful little light fixture that looks a heck of a lot like what that guy sent me. It's splayed out at an angle, and it is undulating and going how it's supposed to go. So right there is, I think we're done, huh? I think we are finished with our lighting fixture that looks so gorgeous. And then we load it in the project and it sticks to the ceiling. Anyway, that, my friends, is how I would go about making this light fixture right here, get my face out of the way, in Revit, okay? So that's all there is to it. So I hope that helps you, my friend who sent that request in, and I hope that helps all of you to start thinking outside the box of what you can do to create an object, use that object to create a path for a sweep or other objects. I know it's a little bit crazy. If any of you have requests for things to be created or just a Revit tip or something you're having trouble with, put it in the comments box below and I'll see if I can get to it and make a video for you. All right, that's about it for today. Until we meet again, happy Reviting. All right, bye-bye.